Alright, y'all. Welcome to LilTrouble and RoxyC playing up against Aiden the Detective. So, this is actually going to be the last match before the semifinals of the tournament. So, whoever gets a win here today will be moving on to the semifinals. The other semifinals are already set up, and I won't spoil them in here in case you still want to watch the other games. But yeah, this will be the determiner of who's going up against Noelle, also known as Noelle Cat, and Ophelia. So whoever does win here is definitely gonna have a tough time, but well, I think they're gonna be happy to make the attempt at the very least. So as usual, the first game is starting in Arabia. We've got 8 here. Britain's detective is Franks. Britain's Franks being again. We've seen them in most sets so far, unless they've been banned, in which case we've understandably not seen them. But we're playing against Mayans and Indians, which is kind of like the other one that we see a lot. It's a very strange one. I've said it before in the other casts, but essentially it's just the two I couldn't pair together in a solid way without reusing civs. So, because I wanted Persians to be with Byzantines. I wanted, like, the Southeast Asians kind of had to be with each other, so the Indians were left alone. And, like, I wanted the Aztecs with the Spanish, and I kind of, at some point, I kind of just had to put our Incas and Portuguese together. That also is not my favorite, as far as historical combinations go. So, but Mayans and Indians are by far the worst. That one I just kind of embraced the fact that it sucked. But yes, LilTrouble is playing as Indians. For those who do not know, they're very strong camel civ. Get Imperial Camel, and they're commonly thought of as a counter to like full cav civs like Franks. However, they do have the problem that like camels, even with the buff that the Indians get, where they get an extra pierce armor and their stable units in Castle Age, and then another one in Imperial Age, they still have less pierce armor than a knight, and in fact when they get to Imperial Age, they don't have plate barding, so they end up with the same amount of pierce armor that like just your average camel will get. I mean, the Imperial Camel is still really strong, and having Scout Cavalry with +1 pierce armor in Castle Age is super useful, but in Imp you definitely have to start getting worried about the Britons player. I mean, even before that you have to start worrying about the Britons player, because they're Britons and they're fucking terrifying and I hate them, but you definitely have to start getting worried in Imp. However, Mayans have, much like most Mississippi's, they have super strong skirms. Mayans are probably the strongest one right now, I would say. Like, Incas they're fully upgraded, but the melee skirm build isn't really a thing you go for, so... And Andean Sling isn't super useful in general. But Aztecs are weird because they do get Atlatl. Atlatl is super good, but they miss out on Ring Archer Armor and they miss out on Thumb Ring. Migrants get second projectile on their skirms, and they're also always going to be wanting to build archer ranges anyway because they're a huge archer discount. So, as far as that goes, like, I would say that Mayans definitely have the best skirmishers right now. Mostly, like, Culture Javelineers is still a little bit niche. It's kind of like... You tend not to see a lot of trash units in team games for 2 reasons. Team games tend to get really, really hot around Castle Age, and in Castle Age you tend not to worry too much about lacking gold. And in the late game you have trade. So it tends to not really be as commonly seen. We've seen a lot of hashtag discourse about stuff like the Imperial Skirmisher and Genitor, because a lot of people are like, well, you would never want to use them in a team game anyway. I'm not gonna get into that. But suffice it to say that if Roxy and LilTrouble end up fighting, like having, or being able to deal with the Franks player in Duck Detective, and then struggling against the Britons' Arbs in 8, then I think there is potential to see skirmishers. Like, again, Indians, once I get the Imp, once we start seeing, like, the fact that they just kind of have slightly less armor than a normal Civ, although of course they don't have to research plate barding, so they're a little bit stronger in very early Imp. Oh no, LilTrouble is pushing deer. These are really rough deer, by the way, to push, and yeah, she's just giving up on it. Honestly, that's hyper fair. Also, she has not found these yet. Like, that's kind of rough. Yeah, Oh my gosh, she's... I hate when this happens. I'm sorry, I forget which patch they changed it in. I hate current sheep spawning. It's so far away. It's stupid. And yeah, Lil T has just given up. I think is she just gonna try to lame 8 sheep or something? I'm not sure about this one. But she gets up to the feudal age first. We're seeing Duck Detective and 8 are coming up behind her, and then yeah, it looks like 8 and Roxy are gonna go up at about the same time. Roxy is 2 builds ahead, one just coming from Mayans being Mayans, and the other probably just coming from... Roxy, I believe, is one of the high rated, I think she's the highest rated in this game, and one of the higher rated players in 1v1 ELO overall in the tournament. So definitely a little bit of extra, just smoothness, a little bit of better transitions and the like. But yeah, I'm curious, like, we could definitely see skirmishers if it goes late, but... I think mines were rather just going to Plumed Archers. Plumed Archers got more hit points, so they got a lot better in Archer v Archer fights. But most importantly, they have, I believe they end up with 2 Pierce Armor. Ooh, LilTrouble just kind of annoying these wall builders, and 8 is, yeah, making sure that those things are going up, but she might actually end up losing. Oh, she runs outside the walls and now 8! Oh, she's gonna be the sacrifice. They're just gonna finish the walls and leave her to die. She could have taken that fight if she just tasked her other vills to go on that, but she vanished. That's merciless. I mean, oh, there's still a hole here, by the way. I did say there's a hole here and then kind of zoomed in on the posterior there, which doesn't look great. But yeah, there is still a hole in the wall here. So lots of, oh my god, it's 9 berry villagers. That's gonna be a lot of bumpage. That's gonna be a lot of bumpage. We're seeing a spearman, an eagle, or the starting eagle, and then 2 archers. We're seeing a pretty typical spearman archer build here from Roxy. She's gonna mess me up a little bit just because she's named Sneaky Bastard. I don't think I've ever seen Roxy have the same account name between 2 days. I think she's always different. But yeah, I was talking about these there earlier, by the way. They're really rough just because, like, they're up on a hill, so it's kind of hard to judge where you have to place your scout. And secondarily, like, they are also around the wood line, so you have to eat them around. They're quite far too, especially when you account for the eating around. Scouts coming from more from Duck Detective, Franks, they do get 54 HP scouts, so if we see 3 scouts go up against 3 scouts, the Franks should win, although there's always room for micro. Oh, 8 has decided to be a little bit annoying back, but LilTrouble is a little bit more experienced with annoying scout players. So she just sends them forward. And I was gonna mention, like, this is kind of a hell of a wall, isn't it? Like, I mean, I will admit that it's not a great map to wall on the back here, and it does look like Duck Detective is about to take advantage of that. In the other hand, LilTrouble pings that she's gonna try to get in here on Duck Detective. These scouts are coming forward. 8 is here too, and it looks like they've found their target. They're gonna pick off this LilTrouble will. They might know about this other scout because, hey, like, they were already being annoying here. These Indian scouts, Indians may not have a straight bonus to any of their scouts right now, as compared to the Franks, but they do have more of them. Indian vills are a little bit cheaper, which helps save up. Oh, that's a good quick wall there, sets up so that she doesn't have to worry about those. Another quick wall, another quick wall. Farms are still exposed, this berry villager is still exposed, and it looks like that's where 8 is going to do her thing. Frank scouts coming in under some town center fire here, spearman coming out. Looks like 8 scout is going to die here. Gets that will very close, but it's going to lose it. Gets more time to focus on her archers now. She already has 8. We are seeing 2 archer range production. Sorry, that's 9 actually now. 2 archer range production. A blacksmith is up and fletching is in. That's what you get from, I mean, Britons have a very smooth start, very fast sheep gathering, and archer ranges produce faster too. She's attacking this palisade wall. LilTrouble could just move a little bit further and try to get in that way, but I think when you scouted this much and everything's been walled, you don't expect there to be an opening slightly further, and I think Duck Detective is going to complete the wall. She has taken some damage on her scouts, kind of has to pay attention to a lot of different areas now. LilTrouble here is actually going to make it in, it looks like, but 5 spearmen, good lord. That's a lot. LilTrouble is in. She moves forward. Oh, and just barely gets away without getting dunked. Duck Detective finishing off these walls now. Scouts coming around here just making sure that everything's okay, and we have to start watching Roxy now. That's a lot of scouts getting or a lot of archers getting chased by a wolf too. She does have fletching, getting wheelbarrow now too, so she's going to be very well set up in terms of eco. We'll notice that 8 has no eco upgrades right now. That's going to hurt her in the long runs. I think she's kind of committed to going full archers, and I think if she takes a fight, that works. Or if she manages to get in and do good eco damage here, but she has to be pretty cautious here, because Death Detective is going to come under a lot of fire. These are four Indian scouts just battering down this palisade wall, and this is really awkward because it's diagonal. She can't just market wall it, and she can't go in here to defend. Like, see, now there's an open spot here, and she needs to find a way to actually plug that. And I don't think she's gonna realize before it's too late. She's very stressed right now. Scouts are coming back, but I mean, just look at the numbers. That's not gonna work at all, and that's not a lot of HP on that house, given that it's about, you know, 8% built, and yeah, there's gonna go down. Scouts are here now, might be able to pick up something in case Roxy gets careless. But I think right now she kinda just has to pray that 8 either comes back, does more damage to the enemy, or Roxy just happens to run in under the town center. Okay, that's a good tower actually. If she moves the spearman forward to protect the scouts, but it's a little slight miscoordination here from Roxy. She kind of left her archers back here for a while, but it looks like it's gonna work out. And I mean, this is gonna get real dangerous. Like, these walls are nice against the scouts and all, but archers, no, not really. And the watchtower is gonna be a doubt tower. She's gonna lose some more on the retreat. Takes a little bit of damage down onto LilTrouble, and has forced her off of her wood line, but there isn't too much more rangeable. The wood line denial is nice, and I think she picked off maybe 2 villagers there, but I mean, this is a much bigger problem, especially with all that stone and wood invested in a tower that didn't even go up. Another staple now coming in from Duck Detective, and Castle Age is well on the way. She's gonna be first there by a good margin, but she's at 28 vills. LilTrouble is the one lagging behind on the enemy team, and she's still 10 vills ahead. Maybe the power of Frank Knights can do it, but, well, she's gonna come in with only scale barding. Doesn't have to get bloodlines, of course, already has essentially a better version of it, at least going into Cavalier and Paladin. Oh my god, did that spear not get the bonk? Really? Oh, it might pick off. Yeah, there's one scout. Should be another one. Okay, not quite. Not quite. Roxy, just gonna make sure that she can't build any more farms. Those Frank farms are too powerful. They get the free upgrades. And now Duck just has to survive. She's actually got a score lead over 8, but I think that's just a combination of scouting and some of the damage she's managed to do. But oh, she can take this fight, but she needs to task her villagers. She's gonna lose 1 or 2 maybe. But she's gonna take out these scouts, and maybe a siege workshop play could work here. LT's in the castle age now, so can't start producing camels. Roxy is about to get Bodkin arrow crossbow, and these Mayan archers are gonna start to hurt. I think there was a time window where she could have sent the knights forward. I think it's too late now. I think these are 12 crossbows against 4 knights right now with only scale barding. With chain barding and maybe with some villager and spearman distractions, maybe she could have taken that fight, but not in that present moment. But oh, 8 is in, and LilTrouble's eco is heavily either just bumping over here. I would have liked to see a single archer stay here to be annoying. But yeah, it's either just entirely idle or bumping a lot like over here. Roxy's still doing the exact same thing onto Duck Detective though, and oh my god, Mayans are crazy. Gets noticed by these Duck Detective scouts, but yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Crossbows beat scouts in that situation. LilTrouble has to manufacture something of a quick wall here, and if 8's not paying attention, she's gonna walk into town center fire. There's only 3 in there though, so she's gonna make it under here, and that's gonna devastate the woodline. I mean, LilTrouble's gonna lose a lot of vills here. Hasn't clicked crossbow or bodkin yet, but yeah, she's gonna make off here, move towards the watchtower. These are gonna go over here, but I mean, the idle time is stacking up. She's floating a lot of wood, having to focus on a lot of areas at once. I mean, at least she's lost her forward force now, but yeah, she has to try to scramble together an eco while these are taking over her wood line. Like, she just has to move back and forth. Siege workshop coming up though, so she's gonna deal with it decisively, it looks like. Knights are starting to gather up, and 8 versus 28 is still a really bad number, just to be clear, but it's getting closer, and maybe if Duck Detective scrambles up a workshop behind the siege tower, we might have a closer game than we might think, just because LilTrouble can't come to the to assist now, although 8's crossbows are actually gonna clear that. That was a really good play. She must have caught them off guard here. Apologies for missing that. More TCs coming up for the Britain's player. 18 Britain crossbows. I mean, if they were over here alongside 8 Frank Knights, I think they could do it. What starts getting dangerous if these camels are getting up in higher numbers. The thing that makes Indians really, really scary is just the thing that their camels sort of counter everything else that you see in team games. Not fully, like again, they're still not as strong against Pierce units, like crossbows, most obviously, as a typical knight, but they definitely don't die nearly as hard. That 1 extra Pierce armor is so useful in trying to equalize those odds. And when you combine... Oh, we might have a just passing, or we might have a fight. I think... Yeah, Roxy hasn't noticed yet, so this is going to be advantage 8, but she's starting retreat, and Roxy has ballistics, and 8 doesn't. There's a fight over here as reinforcements are getting killed off. These crossbows are going to go back. But another advantage of Indian camel riders is they can bust through walls like nobody's business. I think 8 just needs ballistics pretty quickly now. She can use the extra range of Asperger's crossbows to try to negate the extra numbers. Oh, big engagement over here. We're gonna see here there's a bigger amount of knights here. Not more than the crossbows, but more health. But they're being taken down pretty quickly. There's a good micro here from Roxy, pushing them into a choke point and dancing around here. And that's gonna be a pretty catastrophic loss for Duck Detective. Her score is just falling here, and she's weakening them, but without anything to actually threaten these crossbows from range, like no skirmishers, no mangonels, no crossbows or scorpions. That's what happens to knights on a choke point against crossbows. Now these camels, I mean, at least they don't have any knights to counter anymore, but this is looking pretty scary as far as the combined force is concerned. Meat shield and crossbow exist for a reason, and I don't know. Do you think... Oh my god, they must have been LilTrouble's extra sheep. Oh, and 8 is in here on the back again, getting some more snipes. Doesn't need ballistics if you can just shoot them in the face from, well, point blank range. I mean, okay, maybe you still need ballistics if you're shooting from 2 meters away. Oh my god. Well, he accepts his fate and dies, honorably. Well done. The problem is without ballistics, Britain and crossbows can't really do what they do best, which is be far away and still be able to shoot. Ooh. Yeah, this is, just for the record, this is being played on a backdated patch, and I think that might cause some occasional problems. Mangonel should be able to cut off 8's crossbows here. Oh, 1 shot, but 8's crossbows goes that's fine. In an open field, Britain crossbows essentially counter mangonels. They can fire outside of the mangonel range, but not by a lot. They only have 1 range advantage. As you can see, it's a 7, and they're up against 5+3, but she's taking a hill now and getting a lot of kills on Roxy's units. Turns out ballistics doesn't matter. Now the camels are coming in from behind, though. Now, I say a lot of nice things about the camel extra pierce armor. Good split! Doesn't quite get back to fighting immediately. It takes a little bit of damage from the mangonel there. She has to fight this, but she's taking so much damage here. The camels are mopping up. For every moment she's dancing, she's not shooting, and she's getting killed by the camels and by these Mayan crossbows. I mean, Roxy's getting up on 4 TCs now while going to Imp. Ducks on 1, 8's on 2. I know there's a lot of numbers in that sentence. There's still a hole here, by the way. I don't know if LilTrouble intends to patch that up, but it is. It's unfortunate. Okay, second TC now coming from Lil T. We're definitely seeing all scales, or all parts of the scale as far as eco management is concerned. There's the middle, there's the very low, and there's the big boomed out edition. And yeah, these camels, siege camels, I mean, it's only +5, so they're only about as good as knights. But it is... I don't know what's going on here, honestly. I think LilTrouble just put on a very short patrol for some reason. But units don't attack walls when they're on patrol, like even on aggressive stance. There's not actually a secondary wall here. I don't know if LilTrouble realizes that, or if she just doesn't want to fight in a choke point against camel, or she doesn't want to use her camels to fight in a choke point against Breton crossbows, and I think that's fair. Ballistics now coming in from 8. I think that's kind of the last desperate attempt here. Knights coming in too from Duck Detective in the backline, but Roxy is quite quick on just throwing everyone into the TCs here. And Duck Detective is just like, okay, you know what? It turns out they're not stuck in here with me, I'm stuck in here with them. And I mean, Arbalest... Chemistry isn't coming in yet, actually. I'd like to see that started a little bit earlier, just because it takes so long to research. Even so though, Bracer, Arbalest, she's also not researching Bracer. I'm not sure, like, is she considering an Eagle switch or something? Or is she just a little bit slow on the... I mean, she's doing a lot of ecoing at the time. Oh my god, that's a 50C. There are some real boomers in our tournament. And I mean, I don't think... If she switched into pikes... Yeah, she's calling the GG here as these camels make it in, and I mean... She's out. And I imagine 8's probably gonna do so too in a second. Yeah, I mean, also, she's hammy here, but sneaky Vestage here. She's somehow managing to change her name in-game, in a recorded game, which is truly amazing. But yeah, I mean, these camels, I understand, like, Duck Detective, she's on 1 TC, she doesn't have anywhere to retreat, no stone walls or anything. She went aggressive, it didn't quite work out. It was some really good defensive play from Roxy. And just managing to divert all of the pressure. It was really nicely done. And yeah, once these camels are in, like you don't have pikemen, you don't have any infantry you can really use here. Frank archer range is horrific. Like, you look at it and a tear forms in your eye. So you definitely can't use that against camels. And yeah, like, I mean, even the one thing you could say is like, oh, well, you can just hop into the TC, and it's like, yeah, but camels dealing +5 against buildings is pretty strong in that regard. But yeah, good game though, like, a good amount of back and forth, even if you can definitely see that Loyalty and Roxy's extra experience is definitely helping them quite a bit here. So with that, we're gonna toss 1 point over and start getting into the next game. Okay, so I think y'all might like this game. There's a very good reason I was kind of excited to cast this game in particular. We're going to something a little bit different. We're going to a certain home map you might not be expecting. Taking a second to load in. There we go. Alright, so first of all, welcome to Central America. I think this is just from the lobby, just to make sure that everything was being set up correctly. So, I haven't talked about this before because this is the first time it's actually come up. In this tournament, because it's based on historical rivalries and stuff like that, there's an inclusion here where if each Civ pair has a specific home map that you can choose. So you can, and all of those home maps, by the way, are real world maps. So if you want to, you can just abandon the normal, like, you know, normal maps that you typically play. Give me a second here, it's lagging a little bit. Okay. Capture Age did just update, so I hope it doesn't cause any problems here. But yeah, you could just play a normal map like Arabia Arena, or Arabia isn't the home map, it's the first map, but you get the point. That's just the stuff you would normally see in multiplayer, in ranked. Or you can throw that out the window and pick one of your real world maps from the Civ packages you play. So this is Central America, they get it from playing Aztecs and Spanish. And for example, like Teutons and Italians, I believe their home map is Italy. So if, for example, if Aiden Duck Detective managed to beat LilTrouble and Roxy here, they could definitely go on to Italy if they wanted to. Although I do think most people are going to stick with the maps they know. Now, real world maps they're a hell of a drug, I'm going to say, because they don't really care about balance in the same way, so it's a huge risk to take them. I think it worked out pretty well for Duck Detective and 8 here, because they're in Mexico over here, whereas the other two have spawned in, what does that end up being, like Nicaragua or Costa Rica? As well as, like, I guess technically this is still southern Mexico if we're splitting hairs, but yeah, just south of the Yucatan Peninsula itself. So, Duck Detective and 8 have a lot more room to work with. On the other hand, there's a lot of thick woodlines down here, potentially a lot of defensive power for LilTrouble and Roxy, and I think the extra woodlines might help them get onto water. There's a lot of water on this map, and there's even an early Panama Canal over here. But a lot of land space for Aiden Duck Detective, a lot of water space for Roxy and LilTrouble. Now, to introduce, as mentioned, 8 is playing the Aztecs here on the front with the pocketed Duck Detective. I know it's weird to think of pockets in a 2v2, but that's kind of how it's working out right now. And in return, we're seeing LilTrouble picking up Italians. Again, it should help a lot with that docking and fish eco in general. And Roxy playing Teutons. I think it's a little bit awkward that they found themselves in these positions. I think you'd much rather have LilTrouble be the quote-unquote pocket here in the back, so she could try to dominate water, she'd be a little bit safer, and then you'd have Teutons just try to wall up the front, maybe go men-at-arms forward, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how this plays out. If I remember correctly, I believe Aiden Duck Detective have practiced a lot of Aztecs in Spanish, so maybe this map is in fact like something they've practiced specifically. It's also just a great way to throw your opponent off, because you know how to play Arabia, you probably know how to play Arena a little bit at least, like Golden Swamp. All of these you either have played yourself, maybe even a lot for all of the Arena clowns out there, but in most cases you're going to see at least a little bit of it. Central America? You have no idea. There's even some resources out here on these islands. A relic here, gold here in... Sorry, it's something about this map being the way it is actually throws me off so much just because north is this way. But yeah, there's gold on Jamaica, a relic in Cuba, some extra stone, and another relic here in the Bahamas. Oh, okay, I assume they have some lag problems or something similar. Excuse me. I will say Lithuanians would have been a super interesting pick here. Like, it's obviously not something you could have known beforehand, but there ends up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 relics, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 whole relics. You could kind of guarantee +4 knights, which is just absolutely insane. Still, as far as the actual civs go and their combos, I think it makes a lot of sense for Teutons and Italians, right? They have a pretty typical knights backed by crossbows. Aztecs and Spanish are a little bit more complicated because Spanish are one of few civs that don't really get a considerable eco bonus. And interestingly, only 8 is actually going for water. She's backdocked here in the Pacific alongside Roxy, whereas LilTrouble is going into the Caribbean Sea. And yeah, I'm very curious. Both Roxy and LilTrouble is going up quite early, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, some fighting here. LilTrouble going a little bit forward with the scout. But it looks like 8 is perfectly walled off here. Everything up to the shorelines, even this little spot here, even if it looks a little bit weak with these bushes in the way. But yeah, her Eagle Scout here, 8's Eagle Scout should be able to kill off LilTrouble's Scout Cavalry. Although it can of course just run away, and especially because she's gonna hit fuel first, she's gonna get that extra speed boost. So gonna get in some good scouting. Notices the dock here, that's actually quite important. That means Roxy will know she has to fight on water here, or at least she has to rely on Lil T to do it. And the second dock is coming up here, so even if she doesn't need to fight any other fishing ships, that Italian discount is going to be huge in actually getting so much fishing eco going here. Neither 8 or Duck Detectives even clicked up. There we go, just now coming up as I suppose they're going to go for a fast castle build. But with so little fish eco to speak of, 4 fishing ships in total for 8 and, well, nothing to defend themselves with. That's gonna be dangerous! 2 barracks, so maybe... Okay, maybe not a fast castle build, because I don't think you would build 2. 1 makes sense if you're gonna go into archers, which does make some sense for sure for Aztecs, given that Spanish don't get crossbow. Aztec archers definitely aren't the best. They lack thumb ring and they lack ring archer armor, but up until like Castle Age, or up through Castle Age, they are definitely more than acceptable, especially with Aztec. Faster military production, which helps a lot, because you really want to mash them, not mash them, excuse me. Fire Galley just being annoying here. They do get a slight bonus towards buildings, I believe, so... Or maybe not, actually. Okay, I must have been mistaken there. Just gonna very slowly burn down this house. I mean, 3 fire galleys, at this point it's going to be really hard to actually get out into the sea if they wanted to. Yeah, they're just playing very defensively. 2 RoxyC scouts coming forward here. With these galleys? I don't think 8 can, in the long run, actually defend against this. Like, she might have to toss down a stone gate to actually cover the shoreline here. I think Roxy's being a little bit weird here, because she's attacking this house rather than trying to get through the palisade. There we go, they're cashing onto that. Oh, wait. Oh, Roxy had her scout over here from earlier. Oh, that's interesting. The Eagle Scout's gonna come forward now, but I mean, against multiple fire galleys, there's not much they can do here. Yeah, I think the only way to actually block this off at this point... Okay, she's gonna try to wall around, but I think LilTrouble's gonna be on the ball. The palisade wall is going down further and further, and I think this could seriously disrupt the fast castle plans. Duck Detective is going up and is heavily on stones, so we're probably gonna see conquistadors from her Spanish player here. But what eco damage can these 2 do in the meantime? Dominating the seas, just... That's a lot of fishing ships starting to come out. I mean, I'm surprised 8 hasn't gotten hit yet. They know there's a dock down here, but maybe they just don't... Maybe they just want to focus on making sure these scouts get through, and well, here they are. I don't think Duck Detective expected them to force through the wall so quickly, but that's what happens when you ignore water on a map with so much water, and... These are 5 scouts, and they're coming up against... Wait, hold on, 1 second. She didn't get loom! Oh my god, she didn't get loom! I don't know if Roxy's noticed that yet, but with villagers not having loom, she could kill so much here. Oh my god, no quick wall here, and yeah, she just takes her pick of the litter here. Okay, that one might actually get away. Wall them in, wall them in, wall them in. You just need a house here, and you actually fix everything. Sort of. Okay, it looks like they're gonna get away here, and oh no, that's another 5 village. Oh, just passing though, okay. They're actually gonna get away because of that, and I mean, the rest is already been quick walled. Market coming up here, like, at this point it's not about walling anymore, it's just... Things have gone wrong, and we need to start doing things to make them not wrong. And this is just enough for a castle. Please... Oh my god, please make loom. I think at this point, you don't think about loom. Like, this is not the time where you're like, oh yeah, let me check on my loom. It's so strange that it has to be the Spanish villagers too, because Spanish villagers are so strong in Imp, but now they are like weak little ducklings. Oh my god, I mean, the wall is not going to get re-established either. I mean, this, you kind of need towers or something to try to reclaim this, or you could try to sneaky duck up here in Louisiana or something. Ooh, imagine dropping one here. Okay, maybe not exactly there because of the shorefish, but still. Castle does go up, I think, yeah. Apologies for not showing that, by the way. But Roxy does lose some scouts, but, I mean, she's gotta be real happy with the loomless. Duck Detective is now at a lower point of villagers than she was before she went up to Castle. She's gonna need to do a lot to actually pay off that. She's getting fletching, and here's the thing, right? Conquistadors don't need fletching, so I think that's just for the castle and TC. Like, she got hit hard by that. Okay, she finally has loot, thank God. Oh. And now we might actually start seeing something. Conquistadors, the one big weakness they have is against skirmishers and to a lesser extent archers. They actually do still have good pierce armor, although cost-effectively archers still tend to do pretty well. So with an eagle vanguard here, that might actually work pretty well. Also, conquistadors do pretty well against ships, so they might actually be able to reclaim the shoreline. They're being a bit cautious here. I would like to see these conquistadors going in and just start sniping. It's dangerous, especially with more and more archers coming out here from LilTrouble and her Italians. But I think it will be worth it, and not unexpectedly, we're seeing Mega Boom from Teutons. Adding some fishing ships could be useful here. LilTrouble is going to take over that role, and I suppose Teutons could just stick to their cheap farms and call it a day there. Conquistadors are kind of coming in here now. LilTrouble's dock villagers will probably get sniped. Oh, just gunpowder accuracy, by the way. Just passing. Yeah, free conquistadors should have no trouble killing free or 2 knights even. Yeah, just do some hit and run, taking some damage. Ooh, I don't like going in here. That's actually hurting more than it's helping. Because now, also for some reason this conquistador is not on attack stance. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I can't explain that. Eagles are coming around here, but they're a little bit behind in terms of upgrades. No eagle warriors in yet, no chainmail. Still enough of them here to fend those off. Can probably take down a knight. Needs to target the right one though. By the right one I mean the left one. Yes, gonna get that one down. Don't think she can actually take this fight with the crossbows behind, but more conquistadors coming in, more eagles are being made. She needs that upgrade though, she needs chainmail in particular. Conquistadors coming in, and as we do with guns, we go right up to them and we blast them in the face. Oh yeah. I mean, it's very satisfying to see conquistadors in action. Oh boy, they do damage. They do a lot of damage. I would like to see archer armor coming in here, because she's gonna be going up against quite a few archers here, honestly. And she kinda needs to do damage right away. I mean, free TCs, free docks for LilTrouble, free TCs and 1 dock for Teuton RoxyC here. Chain barding coming in, that's gonna help a little bit against the eagles. Not gonna do much against conquistadors just because they already have so much pierce. A ram! That's actually a very cool play. I think I would like to see a mangonel more, but it's not a bad idea to get a ram in, try to get a stronger push in. And I think, to be fair, given their relative ecos, they're kind of working on a budget right now. Not to be mean, but this is really good conquistador micro, by the way. I don't know how long. Oh, I don't like the backing into corners. You can do this with archers, because archers aren't gonna outrun the knights. Conquistadors are, like cavalry archers are, run by ours, fine. Oh, this is a really nice castle actually. It's gonna range this barracks and this archer range. Secure a very good amount of the middle here. I mean, you can't pass through here without taking some shots from the archery range. Excuse me, from the castle. You can't pass through with the archers here. But yeah, here's also a slight problem there. Slightly readjusting where they're sitting. I would like to see monks. Yes, excellent. That's good shit. Okay, yeah, they can kill that one. But there's starting to be a lot of knights coming in here. They're Teuton knights, so theoretically with conks, they should be able to out-micro. But it's a lot of places to pay attention right now. These guys are just delaying right now, making sure that this castle actually goes up. They're Spanish builders. Oh, but round 2, I mean, there's a castle up at this point, but ballistics is not in. Murder holes is being prepped. I am unsure about that one. I think I would rather see ballistics, if anything. Eagle warriors attacking fire ships. The fire ships have looped around here by now. Or perhaps miraculously they've been built from here? No, I think it is the same fire ships as earlier, honestly. No, wait, no, they're ones here. Never mind, apologies. Does have flashing of his castle, so might actually be able to range these, I'm not sure. Oh, that's not a full wall. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Yeah, they're gonna find one villager here, so they're not gonna come away with nothing. But it's not a huge amount. Oh, okay, that Vil might actually save herself. I mean, she's not gonna be very productive. And I think this amount of knights should be, like, unless she puts up a stone wall or something, yeah, they're just gonna break through. I think, oh, okay, never mind. RoxyC grants mercy to that one in particular, but it's gonna fuck up this one instead. Okay, a life for a life. 4 of TC coming in from LilT, and Roxy already had a 4 of TC coming up here on the front, and yeah, we're seeing Teuton Fields, Teuton Farms starting to make their appearance. Oh boy. Yeah, I think the time frame for these conquistadors to really turn the game around has kind of passed. There's 3 of them left here. 7 Teuton Knights, and I think they can defend fine, but they're falling behind in eco. And eventually there's going to be enough of an Italian archer mass that those conks aren't going to do a lot. And the Eagles should get crushed by Knights. By Teuton Knights in particular. This is looking pretty grim for Duck Detective in 8, but I really like the strat. It just... I think you needed to do something on water. Like, just adding 2 of your fishing ships is so useful, even if you don't defend them later. If you can transition from 2 to 3 fishing ships into really aggressive, like, land military, kill nets now coming in from LT. If you can transition it into a really fast attack on land, you can kind of strangle their wood and gold supply, and then that itself kind of becomes a victory condition. But you need to go fast, and I think they were a little bit hesitant. I think the eco management wasn't quite there, and it was a lot of faith in being able to wall and keep them out that way, without actually investing in stone walls, and without actually investing in any way to defend against sea attacks. I think that was the big flaw. I think if they could have held, I think if they put up like a stone wall here instead, in like early feudal, like maybe 8 just goes way earlier feudal and doesn't worry about water, but just gets a stone wall up against the coast, and same on this side, I think the Conquistador play could have been a lot more powerful. It is a little bit like scary, of course, because Italians, Genoese crossbowmen, and of course just very good eco might have allowed them to put up an early castle. Oh, excuse me. But I think it was the better choice in the long run here. They're still in it, but I mean, it's a pretty huge eco difference. Oh, Capture Age having some trouble. Oh, let's try pausing for a second, see if this improves. I am not sure why it suddenly... Yeah, I have no idea why it's actually just being very confused by that exact moment. Might have to look into something about Capture Age after this, because that seemed very specific. Either way, we're seeing some good teamwork here. 8 monks healing Duck Detectives Conquistadors. But now there's a castle here, a Teuton castle here, an Italian castle here. And again, there's just, with water support, there should be no way of actually keeping these knights out. You gotta admit though, Central America is looking pretty populous right now. Mexico, not quite so much. Especially not after the kills here in the farming. And one very devoted pupper running after those knights. Oh, gonna help their Spanish master. Oh, okay, well, look away, look away. So there's actually gonna be a stone from Roxy. I guess just trying to eliminate any chance that Conquistadors come in and start messing up with the eco. More of them over here, and they're almost boxed in here. Can they actually get out? They should be able to. Oh, there we go. That's good teamwork. That's how you know they're communicating. Oh, almost actually blocks it again. Okay. Well, either way, they're out now. Built the stone wall a little bit close here, but I mean, both of them are going in with Roxy having a little over, well, just more vills than both the enemies combined. So this is pretty rough, I would say. Doing some of their own healing now. I'm sad to see that this is an Italian monk. Teuton monks get double healing range. Imp is coming in from Duck Detective, but I mean, Elite Conquistador is nice. It's not a huge upgrade. Like, again, I think the more important part would have been upgrading Archer Armor. Yeah, I do not see a way for them to come back now. They're just losing more houses now, too. LT's in the Imperial Age. Roxy spent for like half a minute or something like that. And the GG's call, yeah. No, it was a really cool plan. Just didn't quite work out at the end of the day. Oh, excuse me. But I really love seeing Central America. It's a fun map. Definitely, real world maps have the potential danger of not being the fairest, but there's a lot of creativity to be used here, and I definitely think like Detective and 8 had a really cool strat worked out here, I think. Like, it definitely feels like this was planned, given their build orders and everything. It just, I think losing water is just so dangerous. And I think also, like, you're probably not going to get too much practice on a map like this against real opponents. Which is not to be mean, but yeah, not a lot of people play real world maps in ranked multiplayer for one thing, but also just in general. Still, really good games. And it does look like LilTrouble and RoxyC will be going up against Noel Cat and Ophelia, which I'm very excited for. I think that's going to be a wonderful match. But yeah, for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye!